guys, welcome to Cooking with Chase. Hope everyone's having a great day. Today we are making Panzanella salad or peasant salad. So grab a drink if you're drinking and let's get cooking. So before we begin, some really exciting news. We're kind of about 3 weeks into this whole process, 4 weeks in actually, and finally we got our YouTube channel up, and Ty worked really hard over the weekend and uploaded as much of the old videos as we had saved. So if you type in Cooking with Chase into YouTube, you can see a bunch of archive footage, and you can subscribe to that. And now we're going to be posting every video that we do on YouTube every night. So if you miss an episode or you're making a recipe a couple weeks down the line, you can go and get a refresher on the lesson, get those tidbits. So we're really excited about that. Another thing, Wednesday is our 20th episode, which is really hard to believe that we've done 20 of these things, almost 10 hours of video. It's really crazy that this all started with kind of a spur of the moment idea to do a little cooking lesson, and has evolved into this amazing community of people that are cooking the food and reaching out, and I've met some new friends and definitely gotten closer to some people in the family just through this whole process, so it's been awesome. So the 20th episode is Wednesday. We're going to have a special guest, one of my best friends, a chef from Toronto named Zach Dark. He's going to be doing a cook-along on Wednesday. So more details on that to come, but we're really excited. That's going to be super cool, and I hope it works out. So if there's an kind of an episode to mark on the calendar, 20th episode, Wednesday, it's going to be a good one. Okay. Let's jump in. So, the original plan today was to do an Italian egg dish, and then me and Ty were getting ready for our bi-weekly grocery shop and realized that we had forgotten the cucumbers in the bottom of the drawer. So, quickly changed the recipe to something using cucumbers because, you know, we are trying not to waste food, as we always are, but especially conscious during this time where we shouldn't be going to the grocery store very much. And to be honest, the cucumbers, we had two, one of them was gone. This is what I was able to salvage of the second one. And the skin is it's got a little moosh to it. So normally I wouldn't peel it, but I'm going to peel it today just to kind of get rid of the less desirable bits. And that's part of the process, right? You're not always dealing with perfect ingredients, and if something's not quite right, just cut around it and still use it, right? Like, we're trying not to waste here. So, what is Panzanella salad? Like most things you'll hear me talk about, my favorite food usually comes from people making, trying to make something from nothing a little bit. And this is an Italian salad that's made of stale bread, tomatoes, red onion, cucumber, garlic, red wine vinegar. This would change depending on the region you're in Italy. Sometimes they would use balsamic, sometimes white wine vinegar, sometimes white vinegar. That's kind of a regional thing, and then olive oil, and then finish with some Parmesan cheese and some basil. And this, just a little, I know I'm doing a lot of talking before cooking, but the foundation of European cooking was bread, and they would kind of do these cycles where they'd have these central hearths in the village. And Marley wants to come in. We'll leave her outside. So they'd have these central hearths in the village, and everyone would bake bread one day, and then the temperature would drop and they'd roast meat the next day. So there's a lot of stale bread going around, basically. So there's a lot of recipes, especially in Italian and European cooking, that really call for stale bread. So bread goes stale, don't throw it out. Let's find a way to use it. So let's get going here. First step, we're going to kind of take our bread. I'm going to cube it roughly. This works better with like a baguette or a ciabatta or something like that. You kind of just tear it up. I have sliced bread, so we're going to use that. And I'm just going to roughly cut her into kind of 1-inch cubes. And that's probably a bit too much, but that's okay. And spray this water here. Spill. I'm going to get that into a bowl. I've got my oven preheated to like 450. So normally this would be like, if you had a grill or you wanted to do it in a pan, that would be great. The cheaper olive oil here. And you're going to dress the bread with a little olive oil. and a touch of salt. And you're just going to kind of give that a little toss. Put that onto a sheet tray. And you're almost like making croutons here. But you don't need to worry about dehydrating. What we're really looking for is kind of the toasty, almost burnt bits. So we're going to let that go. For a crouton, you want to get rid of the moisture completely. It's okay if this is still a little wet. By wet, I mean just like it's still a little moist in the center. Give the board a little light. Okay. Then we just want to start building the rest of our salad here. So, the dressing. Red wine vinegar. Kind of about a tablespoon and a half in there. Olive oil. Be generous. And you kind of look at it. When you're looking at these vinaigrettes, you can kind of see it's about a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio of oil to vinegar. That's a good kind of number to keep in your head, you know? If you're making a vinaigrette or whatever, you need enough fat to kind of cut through that vinegar. Just kind of the nature of the thing there. And then, like I said, just because this cucumber you can see right here is kind of a bit of a mushy bit, I'm just going to quickly peel this thing. Because the skin is just a little old. Normally if this was fresh, you wouldn't have to worry about it. I'm going to go a little deeper than I normally would. Like I said, because the cucumber was a bit old. But we're not going to waste it. Bowl for the scraps. Okay, so we're going to cut a cucumber. So I think I've showed you this before, but to kind of get the same size bits, we're just going to take the cucumber and kind of roll it and cut these really nice little organic shapes, right? With round stuff, it's hard to get these perfect dices. So this is much more consistent than if I was trying to slice it down like this. You'd end up with some square and some rounded from the edges. And it just looks a little... When you're trying to make something look perfect and it doesn't, that's when it looks sloppy. If you're letting the thing kind of just be, you know, no one's going to say you don't know how to cut a perfect burn like that. You're getting that right into the dressing. I'm going to take a red onion. I'm going to go for about half this onion for the salad. Peel it. Our bowl. I'm going to cut it thin. So I'm going to slice it. So if you're not quite there with getting your nice, like you can't get it quite this thin, I would dice it. But you don't want thick slices of onion. It's just going to be too much per bite. So if you can't get these really thin, see how thin I'm going? If you can't get it really thin like that, that's fine. Just dice the onion then, so you're not getting so much bite, right? This last little bit, see like that? I'm just going to pull that to the side. I'm not going to throw it out. I'm going to toss that in the fridge and use it for a stir fry or something like that with this other half of the onion. And really make sure this is broken apart. Put that in there. Tomato. I swear our dog knows when it's 5 o'clock. Happy inside all day. Give it a little wash. And kind of nip the core out. I can smell that bread toasting. It's kind of melted the cloth a little bit. And this is great. So you want some nice toasted, you want a little color on that. That's fantastic. So you just pop your oven off and just leave that off to the side for now. And then the tomato, it's kind of the same thing. So I'm not going to try to dice this perfectly. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this into quarters and then kind of just work around. Right? Just nice kind of rustic shapes. Let the thing be. Remember, this dish came out of poor villagers using old bread and some vegetables from the garden, right? and making something really, really delicious out of it. So again, kind of 1 tomato looks good to me. I just left 3 on the table because they were on the vine and it looked very food showy, I thought. And this juice, as much as you can, get that tomato juice in there. Because part of this dressing is the tomatoes, as we work it, they're going to let out their liquid. So it's almost a tomato juice, red wine, olive oil, vinaigrette. Rather than just, the tomatoes aren't just being dressed, they're actually becoming part of the dressing. Right there, when the tomatoes get in, salt them. Be fairly generous with your salt, and just leave them on the tomatoes. That salt's going to extract some of that liquid out of the tomatoes that becomes part of the dressing. So just let that go in there. 1 clove of garlic. Again, I'm not a huge fan of raw garlic. Some people just absolutely love it. I'm not my thing. It's definitely necessary, but I'm pretty sensitive to it, and that's just a taste thing, right? Like some people like it more than others. So for this, I'm just going to microplane it. Just make sure I'm not getting any big chunks of garlic. And you'll notice it's not going to come through the microplane, so you can just do it on your board like this. If you don't have a microplane, you can crush it with the salt, which I showed you for the pasta, the carbonara. You can mince it really fine. If you like big chunks of garlic, put big chunks of garlic in there. If you don't like garlic at all, take it out. You know? It's just a salad. Not a lot of rules. And that's fine. So I'm just going to take that, see just how nice and fine that is. And we can get that right on the tomatoes. So this is again an example of one of those things where, just like if you saw the carbonara video, there's not a lot of ingredients, right? Nothing's fancy about what we're using, but the order in which you add them and how you're treating them when we're mixing it and doing all of that, that's the difference between kind of just a sloppy crouton-y salad and this really, really delicious panzanella salad. So, at this point, I'm going to grate a little cheese in here. We're going to top it off, so don't go too heavy. And I'm going to take a little bit of basil. And just as a side note, so we got a basil plant we're growing in the house now, and it's making too much basil that we need every day. This is the way you want to be storing basil or any herb. So I've got damp paper towel in the bottom of a container. This could be Tupperware. I've got my herb, and then another piece of damp paper towel. Now this basil we picked last night or the day before, and feels like I picked it 2 seconds ago. And as much as possible when you're trimming plants, see where we're leaving all of the leaves on the stem, this will keep it as fresh as possible. Okay, just going to tear this up. And I'm not going to cut it. We're just going to kind of tear it. I find the basil will infuse a little bit into the dressing, but also it's kind of nice when you're eating it, all of a sudden you kind of like get a big bite of basil. It's like, oh, hey, oh, that's a nice little surprise. Okay, that should be good. We're going to garnish with some basil leaves as well, so that's fine. Let me get my board a little wipe here. Grab a spoon. I'm going to start mixing. At this point, you want to be quite vigorous. You want to be working it. So what I'm looking for, you can see that dressing down there. It's actually, it doesn't look like red wine vinegar. That's the tomato juice that's come out, right? So you're ending up with this vinaigrette or dressing that is, like I said, olive oil, red wine vinegar, but also quite a bit of tomato juice. And a little bit of the onion liquid comes into there as well. You'll find the onions are softening quite rapidly from all the acidity. They're looking slightly cooked. Because acid cooks, right, like a ceviche. And you want to mix before you get the bread in there, because we're just dressing the bread. So this should be completely seasoned, completely ready to go. And then we're just going to dress that bread ever so slightly so it doesn't get soggy. So when you're tasting this, kind of get some of that sauce at the bottom there. It's good. Needs a little bit of pepper. I think it needs a touch more olive oil. Just a touch of salt. Remembering we season the bread. So we're not worried we're not going for final seasoning of the total salad, but it should be fairly close. And again, working aggressively. This is what's creating that dressing at the bottom of the bowl here. Like, look at how thick and creamy that is, right? Okay, so I'm really happy with this. One more taste. Fantastic. I'm gonna take our bread. Is that hot? Nope, it's not. And this, you can just imagine, just like with the croutons, right? Like, grab them real quick. So, if this was set of slice, you have these really beautiful shapes like this. This is what I normally like. But I had sliced bread, so we're using it, right? And it will taste fine. And let's see, well, waste not, want not. And those crumbs, get those crumbs in there. Sorry, drop some bread. I'm just gonna step on it and ruin everything. There you go. Get a spoon. Start glazing the salad. This would work great with grilled bread. Get a really nice char in it. It would be fantastic. Just the best. Okay. So good. Okay, so that's it. That's the whole salad. Nice here. I'm gonna go to plate here. So good. I make a lot of things for a lot of my friends, and this has become one of the most requested things. That when we're having a dinner or something like that, like Jason and my friend Al, they both just love this thing, you know. And it's so funny to me because it's like I do a lot more complicated cooking, but this for some reason has become this. Well, I get it; it's delicious, you know. And you can see all of that dressing is gone from the bottom of the bowl. I put a bit too much bread in there. Okay, we'll do that. Garnish it with some more. You can go heavy on the cheese on here. Grab some basil leaves. And just get those strewn about. And again, we're just kind of tearing them. Not worrying about getting them cut or anything like that.
Can you make up the veggie part and keep it in the fridge, then just add the bread at serving time?
Yeah, you can. I would keep it to it the day of. I wouldn't do it overnight because there's enough acidity that things will kind of start to pickle. Especially the onions will start to get kind of weird. I would say you could chop up all your vegetables and dress them. Like have your chopped veggies sitting in the fridge, your onions, your garlic, even your garlic minced on your tomatoes. Combine them in a bowl, olive oil, vinegar, toss with salt would be better if you're worried about, does that make sense? Okay, if you're worried about kind of like time for a dinner party or something like that, that would be better because you just don't want vegetables sitting in that much acid. And this really is, like I said, 6 ingredients, kind of like very simple. It's the key to this is kind of doing in those steps. So the only thing I would really recommend, like doing in the order and kind of the time, that's what makes this salad so like wonderful. If you let it sit in the fridge, the flavors just kind of start to get weird and things like that. So I would say chop your veg, but try to dress it as quickly to serving time as you can. So, okay, guys. Panzanella salad, peasant salad, poor man bread salad, crouton salad, whatever you want to call it. It's cheap, it's delicious, it uses up things in your fridge, like bread that are kind of going stale. Again, if you didn't catch the beginning, we have a YouTube channel set up now, Cooking with Chase. Go check it out. It's got most of the old videos. We're going to be posting all the videos up there every day now. So we're super excited. Subscribe, do that whole thing if you want. And Wednesday, episode 20, special guest, Chef Zach, doing a collab video. So stay safe. Stay home, eat well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5, guys.